Well, here we are in the ring. Miguel Flores, the announcer, getting us set up. And
they just appeared.
We mentioned Fiodor Czerkaszyn be taking on Elias Espadas, 10 rounds in the middleweight division.
I have a great Ray Flores story for you.
That's Miguel Flores, the younger brother of Ray Flores, okay?
You're kidding me.
Can you please get that right?
Are you kidding? That's his younger brother?
I'm not kidding at all. He's a fantastic ring announcer.
How old is he?
Old enough to purchase a drink, okay?
That is I didn't know it was a whole family affair. That is well, I have a great Ray Flores story.
Ray will be here tonight, of course. He'll be on the call on the international telecast.
I mean,
of this
what
evening's
has that family done to their pipes? That is unbelievable. Ray Flores and I used to cover WEC together in Chicago when they would come to town when I was working for another network, and he was just a guy with a YouTube channel.
Miguel Torres, Jeff Curran?
Yes. And I told him, bro, your voice is fantastic. You should not be doing YouTube videos. You should be doing ring announcing. He took my advice and look what he became.
Wow, another successful career because of crossing paths with Ariel Helwani.
I'm blown away that's his brother.
This is our second of 2 fights here, of course, on the Showtime pay-per-view countdown program. Kate has her energy drink. She's still biased, but Ariel and I will take you through this. Fiodor Czerkaszyn.
Not to be confused with Fiodor Emelianenko.
Indeed.
One of the great names. No one says that name better than Mauro Ranallo.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Mauro on the call, of course, recently as Fedor said goodbye live on CBS against Ryan Bader. Czerkaszyn, born in the Ukraine. He is of Polish descent. He lives now in Warsaw.
Also spent some time in Florida, too, right?
Absolutely. Got some big-time sparring ahead of this fight in the camp with Caleb Plant, who was preparing for David Benavidez. And I've got a few others written down. He's made the rounds from training camp to training camp, which, you know, you come in, you mimic another fighter. It can only make you better. Iron sharpening iron here as we get going in round 1.
Not to be confused with the great Iron Mike Sharp of the Canadian
whose left wrist injury lasted multiple decades there for your old wrestling fans. But I talked about the sparring there of Czerkaszyn in the dark trunks with the frizzles. Are those frazzles?
I don't know, but I like it, by the way.
I like it just the same. We mentioned David Morrell Jr., who's in tonight's co-main. Czerkaszyn also entering the camp of David Morrell, so getting very good work ahead of this. Elias Espadas is his opponent, a 32-year-old from Merida, Mexico. Did I pronounce that correctly? Normally,
you rolled the R.
Luke Thomas is here to correct my Spanish. Very, very aggressive.
Where are you at, Luke?
Thomas will be back, finishing up the family vacation. Will be back with us on Monday's Morning Combat on Showtime Digital. But round 1 here in the middleweight division. One thing to note about Czerkaszyn, as Ariel mentioned, background is largely in mixed martial arts in forms of kickboxing, Muay Thai, all of that. But he's made the adjustment nicely, and he really knows how to operate from range with that jab. But when he's got you figured out, Ariel, you see some accurate combinations coming in.
He was looking for his first boxing coach in Poland, found one on Facebook, and the guy wouldn't write him back. And then he had to just show up at the gym and be like, bro, why don't you write me back? I want to train.
Said he was able to get Polish citizenship because it's where his grandmother is from. Moved his career there. It's where he lives with his wife. But interesting, we mentioned he's from Ukraine. His parents are still in his hometown there. And they've been through a lot there with the skirmish with Russia and under law during wartime. Czerkaszyn's father was unable to leave the country because all males under the age of 60 need to stay. So it's been a trying time the past few years, of course, for so many, Czerkaszyn and his family notwithstanding here. But this is the time in his career he feels he's about to break out. 27 years old, Fiodor Czerkaszyn, 21-0 with 13 stoppages.
No children. He said now's not a good time to have kids living where he lives, but he and his wife do want to have kids at some point.
Over 350 kickboxing and Muay Thai contests. He started at the age of 6. Took part in 20 professional fights in kickboxing, won national and European championships before making that move to Poland when he started his boxing career.
Is there a comparable example to someone who's done that? at a high level?
Well, the Hall of Famer, the former heavyweight champion, also from Ukraine, Vitaly Klitschko, had a kickboxing background.
As extensive?
Not as extensive, but it does explain his stance, orthodox stance, which was very much of the weight shifting that's more akin to kickboxing than boxing.
I believe it's Vitaly.
It depends where you're from. In my factory town, we go with Vitaly. One round in the book, I do agree with you. Vitaly Klitschko, of course. Is he still the mayor of Kiev? He's been...
What a legend.
A frontline man himself. But run around in the book here as you see the corner of Elias Espadas. Big opportunity, as we mentioned, for the 32-year-old, nicknamed the Latin Kid. And here's a look back at the action in round one. Great timing on that counter left hook from Czerkaszyn as they exchange punches in the center of the ring. I think tassels was the word I was looking for. Hanging.
And by the way, shout out to our great research team who tells me that he is still the mayor of Kiev.
Kiev.
Yeah.
Thank you.
AKA the Google on my phone told me.
Our crack research team, Ariel's smartphone. Czerkaszyn, a well-conditioned fighter, a volume puncher. We talked about that technique and that accuracy. That breakthrough stoppage in his U.S. debut last August against Gilbert Venegas Jr. That opened a lot of eyes in the fourth round.
You called that one, right?
I did. It was certainly an eye-opening performance from the standpoint of putting those power punches together and getting his opponent out of there. And although he was unable to stop Nathaniel Gallimore in his next fight, dominant across the board, shutout decision in his favor.
You know, Kate asked me earlier if the fighters may have a hard time getting up for a scene like this, for an environment like this. What do you think? So empty? Do they even care?
I mean, look, I think it's certainly different than a piping hot crowd and the volume and the energy, but you know, look, these fighters, amateur tournaments, the long road to get here on the way up, they fought in front of nobody before. It's certainly a challenge in some ways, but it's about the focus. I mean, you know, you do talk to athletes when you say, can you hear the crowd? Can you hear your corner's instructions? They say, no, I'm so dialed in, it's as if I can't hear anything.
Right.
So it can depend on the athlete for sure.
I feel like Vegas, T-Mobile, all that adds enough, right?
Absolutely. Czerkaszyn, inspired as a child, you're going to like this, by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The legend.
Which led his
JV.
father, Czerkaszyn's father, getting him into kickboxing at the age of 6.
Not quite at the level of the great Sensei Seagal.
Exactly.
In terms of like influence.
I mean, I did like the JCVD movie when he was the goalie in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, it was tremendous. Sudden death.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
He was the security guard who just knew how to cover the 5-hole. That was great.
Oh, my God. You know yourself. I mean, that was at the Igloo.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. A little more than a minute to go here in round 2. Czerkaszyn putting on the pressure. He said ahead of this fight he believes his biggest strength is finding opponents' weaknesses. And we saw the replay from round 1, that beautiful counter left hook. He's looking to catch Espadas coming forward.
"21 pro fights, all those kickboxing and Muay Thai fights. No nickname for Fiodor. Should we come up with one for him?"
I talked to him about that. I've interviewed him before. We should come up with one.
I think he's got to have one, right?
Yep.
But what is it? I don't know. I mean, you seem to have a relationship with him. You've mentioned 6 times that you called his fight in Florida. So.
No, I said I interviewed him this time. I didn't mention that great call, the fourth round stoppage I had.
Anything come to mind?
I'll have to work on that between rounds, Ariel. Less than 30 seconds to go here in round 2.
Ooh.
Spada's coming up way short, looking to get inside with those hooks. There's a real ring generalship that Czerkaszyn at this level has been able to show, but you know, he doesn't want to stay at this level. He believes he's ready for the best of this weight class, 160 pounds. If he can score a showcase victory here, that certainly would continue to raise his profile as they trade punches in the final 10 seconds. Referee Michael Ortega on the call, a Connecticut Boxing Hall of Famer from my great state, Ariel. You don't talk about Connecticut at all.
Oh, a lot of great fighters training out of Connecticut these days. Shout out to the great Katie Taylor, who calls Connecticut home.
You talking about the Irish sensation that you've become the biggest super fan of?
Listen,
let's look back.
Again with the super fan stuff. I call it down the middle. Let's look at these highlights right here. And where's Steve Farhood to give us the scorecards? Is he not?
He's nearby. You'll be hearing him from tonight.
Okay, Brian. 29-28.
I believe that's the late great Harold Letterman. Okay, okay, Ariel.
Yeah.
4 rounds to 3. Closing in on the start of round 3 here, the final of our 2 Showtime countdown Showtime pay-per-view countdown. Man, I can't get that.
It's a tough
right.
one.
It is.
It's a tough one.
It is tough.
Am I allowed to mention the sponsors, or will I get in trouble for that? Because I have a very important question about one of the sponsors.
I mean, you can probably ask our producers, Ariel.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Thumbs up? I was just curious when they got into the energy drink business. You see that right there? When did this happen? You see the one right there? That's
Are you
news.
talking about the one that Kate's currently drinking?
No, there's a different one right there. A very famous company with a G in the energy drink business. I feel like this is breaking news. They're a big spot. No, you guys aren't excited about this? All right.
I drink water.
And coffee.
Left hook on the inside there from Czerkaszyn. Got to shout out Big Mike, one of my favorite employees here at Showtime, had the hot coffee waiting for me at the start of this fight.
He's to blame.
Czerkaszyn looking to get off with combinations early. Very accurate puncher. Controls distance well. And there's a big right hand from Espadas over the top. Looking to gain some respect here early in round 3.
You mentioned in the previous round that Czerkaszyn is ready to be considered one of the top dogs at 160.
Sure.
Do you think he is ready to be considered one of the top dogs? Do you put him in that conversation?
Sometimes you've got to certainly swim when you're thrown in the deep water. But I have to say, look, that fight against Nathaniel Gallimore, who comes in, of course, Gallimore moved up in weight from 154, but he's been one of the most durable guys in that division. And when I look back at the show stats from that fight, Ariel,
tell us.
Czerkaszyn landed 53% of his power shots. There's the old adage, if you land 40 or more percent of your power shots, you probably won. He landed 53%, had a 59-6 advantage to the body. It was a thorough performance, a beatdown. So you're asking me, do I feel like he's ready for the next level? Yes. Can he get there? Can he become a true title contender? We'll have to wait and see. But the poise is there, the timing on his shots, the accuracy. There's a lot to like on this young fighter who, at 27, seems ready to find out how good he can be. Espadas looking to, as we said, gain some respect, get off with these right hands. Czerkaszyn has taken his best punch well, though, throughout this early going.
He's naturally left-handed, but then they switched him right-handed. Now it's how interesting is that, right?
I mean, we've seen it at times. You know, think of Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Hall of Famers. It sort of said, look, in their cases, it was, look, their left hand was their naturally more powerful hand. So if they use that as the lead, the jab, the left hook, you'll be using it more often. I mean, and it took the great De La Hoya until midway through his pro career before his right hand was really respected. Same with Manny Pacquiao with his right hand. He was all left hand dominant in his early going despite winning big fights. It can take some time to become a complete fighter.
Greatest stance switcher in boxing history.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler is certainly a giant Hall of Fame name, the late great. But Luke Thomas and I talk about this a lot. Certainly in today's game, Terrence Crawford at the highest level does it great. But Jaron Boots Ennis, the unbeaten young welterweight, as we close round 3, not only does he do a great area, but I think it's starting a new trend for the young dynamic fighters where it's not, it's not such a abnormal thing. It's becoming regular, something that in the early going of becoming a fighter that they're just adopting, that I think is going to make this next generation even more dynamic. Here's a look back at the pictures of round 3. Very clean, accurate power punching from Czerkaszyn, which has become his calling card, of course.
Why do you think we see more stance switching in MMA than we do in boxing?
That's a great question, and we've debated that a lot in Morning Combat. I don't have an answer as to why.
I do.
But I do like that it's becoming more normalized across the board. What's your theory?
Okay, my theory is in wrestling, if you are right-handed, your right foot is forward, right? And so then if you switch to boxing, if you're orthodox, your left foot is forward. So they have... they're more comfortable with switching feet, point. Right? And so if you're a wrestler who then transitions over to MMA, a la a Frankie Edgar, you're now comfortable going right foot forward, left foot forward. How about that?
I love the breakdown.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Luke.
Frankie Edgar, of course, had one of the best boxing games in his UFC title.
Dominic Cruz.
Back in the day. But the one thing about why you don't see more boxers doing it is because it can be a dangerous move. You're squaring up to switch stances and oftentimes you may not. The biggest problem is you don't have the same defensive instincts, I guess, often on your offhand. But round 4 action heating up here in the first 30 seconds. Espadas looking to get inside after Czerkaszyn appeared to control the early rounds. We haven't checked the live scoring of one area Hawani.
No, I was waiting on Steve Farhood to come in, but I guess he's taking the prelims off. Great story, by the way. Before we got up here, we met a father and son duo who told us that his son was attending his first live fight, and the father was there with a friend. And the fight that he said he first went to, what was it?
1987, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
At Caesar's Palace.
Which was the first pay-per-view fight I ever saw. Actually, first fight in general that as a kid.
How old are you?
As a fan, as a...
You're 22 at the time?
I was about 8 at the time.
Okay.
My dad had a pay-per-view party at my grandparents' house. For my dad, a non-sports fan, to get into sports, it had to be like the Super Bowl, right?
He was into it?
The Olympics. He bought the pay-per-view and invited everybody over. That's the fight I learned about the intensity of scoring, the debate, everything that
you remember it?
Oh, of course. Leonard came back from a long retirement with a detached retina. They thought he was risking his life there, but obviously one of the big moments, but a great father-son story.
Oh, my God. I love that. Did you ever see a fight at Caesar's Palace?
I did not.
Always wanted to see one there. Either that or WrestleMania 9. Remember that?
Yeah,
Bobby Heenan coming
Arash
out.
Markazi was in attendance.
Oh, legend. Yeah, that's right.
Good punch, clean punching here from Czerkaszyn in round 4. I mentioned once he makes that adjustment mid-fight when he's figured it out, maybe not too different in some cases from Gervonta Davis, he starts to get more offensive, and we're certainly seeing that here in round 4.
Oh, a little warning there. How do you feel about the warning? I don't like the warning. I say if you do something illegal, you should have a point taken away.
I believe a big believer in second chances in life, Ariel.
Listen, the warning should be in the locker room, okay?
Well,
because this isn't. Yeah, so that's it. So then you do it in the ring. It should be a point.
Okay. Well, look, there's moving targets, so sometimes it's unintentional.
I guess it comes down to is it intentional or not. Did we think that was intentional?
No.
Fair enough.
Upon further review, no.
But you know what I mean? It's like sometimes in fight sports, it pays to cheat.
I agree. You can
not suggesting that Fiodor here was cheating, but you know what I mean.
Look, there's a veteran trick if you're behind in a fight in MMA or boxing. You go low, cause a break in the action, maybe get a little bit of a mental edge.
1000%.
You know who was great at not letting dirty things happen? Andre Ward. He would just out-dirty you. If
the SOG. And shout out to him, June 2nd, right here on Showtime.
Fantastic documentary.
The Book of Ward. Oh, my gosh.
SOG, The Book of Ward, which if you followed Andre Ward's great career, you know how, I'll use the term, guarded he was at times with the media of letting through his true personal story. But let's look back as Fiodor Czerkaszyn. Let's see how many times I can mispronounce it, but look at the accuracy on his punches
body
there.
Shots.
Backing Espadas up to the ropes. And when Czerkaszyn can get a little bit of separation at that middle distance, you see that combination ending with a left hook to the body. Not known for the one-punch power, but if he puts the combinations on you and lands that left hook downstairs, Czerkaszyn can get you out of there.
Love a good body shot. As you mentioned in his previous fight, what was it, 59-6, you said? With the body shot?
Body punches landed, yes, over Nathaniel Gallimore.
And we're seeing more of that activity here from him. I love that.
That was 5 months ago. In Minneapolis, it was the Showtime Championship Boxing tripleheader opener. Same night, David Morrell Jr., who's in this evening's co-feature, scored that decision win over Aidos Yerbosinili. Round 5, middleweight division. Let's see if Fiodor Czerkaszyn, Ukrainian-born, Polish descent, can continue to climb the ladder here and become something in the middleweight division.
Oh, he's working right now. He is cooking.
Hard body shots, big right hand. Espadas looks hurt. Czerkaszyn sitting down on his punches. Espadas calling him forward. Referee Michael Ortega calling for the break, but Czerkaszyn has smelled blood, so to speak. Can hear the corners. Sound like Czerkaszyn's corner imploring him to continue to throw punches. Espadas fresh off 5th round stoppage loss to Xander Zayas. That was in August of last year. Snapped a 6-fight unbeaten streak for the 32-year-old who turned pro all the way back in 2012. I think Vito Melnicki Jr. was probably in preschool back then.
You know, it's the telltale sign that Czerkaszyn heard him in that exchange moments ago. Espadas was telling him to come on, right?
Calling him on.
Every time. It's the telltale sign. Why do you do that? That just tells the judges that you got hurt.
Well, sometimes the telltale sign can be they smile to try to show that they're not hurt when that means they are. I think calling him forward is saying, look, I'm hurt if you're Espadas, but Espadas' best chance to change the momentum of this fight is if Czerkaszyn comes in too aggressive, lowers that guard a bit.
Yes.
I mean, what's more dangerous than a wounded animal? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, they say, Ariel. That might be the answer. All right?
Very bold of you to say that.
This is what you get on Showtime pay-per-view countdown.
I'm trying to get us to say something for Kate to actually say one thing in the middle of one of these fights. She has resisted, but I feel like she's on the verge. Oh, something just happened.
Espadas goes down. Referee Michael Ortega ruling that a slip.
Do you agree?
I do agree.
It's because of that energy drink. The logo.
Sometimes the logos on the canvas can lead to slippery footing.
That's a callback. Reminds me, by the way, of Steven Gerrard when he slipped on the pitch back in the day.
Are we talking soccer here?
No.
I believe Kate's microphone is turned off.
What about that callback, though? Steven Gerrard against Chelsea? Was that against Chelsea?
Is it Gerrard? I don't know.
It is Gerrard? I call him Gerrard.
I got it wrong.
Here I am trying to be cool.
No, it was me. I was calling it soccer.
I was right?
Yeah.
Come on.
I believe we can get Kate's mic in the mix here, too, if we have...
Was it Gerrard or Gerard?
Gerard.
Oh, I was right.
No, you both are mixing me up. It's Gerard.
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 That's what I said.
Steven Gerrard.
Isn't that what I said?
Is it? I thought you said...
Steven Gerrard. I thought that's what it... Was it not against Chelsea when he slipped?
I don't remember who it was against. Was it Chelsea or Man City?
No, it was Chelsea. It was
but
Pep.
it was for Man City to win the title.
Yeah, shout out to Pep Guardiola, my man.
Good action to close round 5 there in the final 10 seconds as Fiodor Czerkaszyn continues to control the action against Elias Espadas.
We got her to speak at least.
We did. We brought Kate back in, but look at the power punching here from Czerkaszyn. Very accurate, Ariel.
Very impressive. Again, more work to the body. Thought maybe he was going to drop him there very briefly. Look at the legs, and that's when he called him on, and you knew he was hurt.
Something about the crispness and the speed of the combinations from Czerkaszyn. And those body shots are really doing the damage to the very durable Espadas.
He is playing with fire, though, with some of those punches. They are landing, it seems, almost in the back of the head, and he was warned. So we'll see if he continues to go to that well. But I'm impressed with Fiodor.
I'd love to see you as a boxing referee. You wouldn't take crap from anyone.
Oh, absolutely not. I've been known, to have the same sort of intensity as the great Mills Lane Jr. Was it Jr.? I don't know if it was a Jr. If he was
no,
Jr.
I think it was just Mills Lane.
Yeah, it was Mills Lane. I was thinking of David Morrell Jr. What a legend he was.
Absolutely.
Oh, stunned him there with that one. I don't know if you know this, but I've been training a little boxing, a little sweet science myself.
You're talking about Hawani boxing with
No, legit. Yeah, legit.
All right, I need footage of this.
Kate has questions, but too bad for her. Her mic is off. She can't ask them.
Round 6, Czerkaszyn continuing to put it on with those left hooks down low. Ariel, one left hook to the liver in that right spot. It's like blowing up the Death Star on Star Wars, The fight can be over in a blink. You remember when Bernard Hopkins dropped Oscar to the body? End of the fight.
End of the fight. The great Bas Rutten taught me the body shot, different type of body shot.
Is he training you right now in boxing?
Trained Kimbo Slice.
Who is training you?
Oh, hello again. Shout out to my good friend Patrick. He's my trainer 3 times a week. We're working on the right hand. Some have compared it to some of the greats. The left hook, let me tell you something. I don't want to put myself in the category of Ryan Garcia, but it is lethal. Okay, so everyone calling me out these days.
Fighter?
Yeah, of course. Look at me. It's all right hand. But that left, the torque is...
Got some nice snap on it.
Hard jab.
You said it.
Espadas. Sorry to interrupt you. As Espadas, a little bit of activity from the native of Mexico here. Landed about 3 or 4 stiff jabs, but it has been mostly Czerkaszyn. I'd like to see footage of your form, Eric.
Diaz and I. In Vegas in July, Diaz was holding the mitts up for me. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah. A little pivot action.
He respects you, Nate Diaz.
Oh, of course. Those Stockton boys, we share a kinship.
Okay.
They know him from, the mean streets as well.
Will you go the next step and get the 209 tattoo on your left forearm?
Absolutely not.
A la John Ennis.
I can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery if I have a tattoo. That's my big problem.
All right, we'll save that conversation for the post-fight show, apparently.
No, I'm not a part of the post-fight show. This is my one shot. I didn't make the cut for the post-fight show.
Should we talk about scoring women again, or should we keep going to this fight?
Scoring what?
It was a callback to the earlier bad joke we had. All right. Less than a minute to go in round 6 here. Fiodor Czerkaszyn
Why
piling on
didn't
the
I get
clean
the
punches.
call for the post-fight show? I'm just wondering. I wore this nice
you
suit,
know,
and I'm only doing the pre.
I thought you were too big for me to ask
Wow.
you, but if you're around, okay.
It's weird. No, I'm actually not around.
Yeah,
I'm taking
here
a
we
red.
go.
Who
there it
is
is.
on the postman?
I think it's just
a
him.
one-man
Isn't
show.
that
So
weird?
far, it's
like we
just
take
me.
him all the way to here, and then he's just doing a solo
So
show.
here we go.
Feels a little bit weird.
You want to know full disco? Right hand from Espadas, a counter right as Czerkaszyn was opening up, did catch him flush. As we close in under 30 seconds in round 6, you were with us on location in Cleveland, Showtime pay-per-view.
Oh,
Jake
yeah.
Paul, Tyron Woodley, Luke Thomas, and I on the ground did the post-fight show.
Yeah.
Luke texted you about an hour before. We said, "Hey, why doesn't Ariel join us?"
Couldn't be bothered.
Didn't respond.
That's
but,
such a lie.
But,
That's an absolute
well,
lie.
Can I correct the lie?
Okay. He
We
called-
found out he had an old number
Of course.
in his
Oh,
phone.
that's the Kate. That's the classic story of my life. People are like, Ariel doesn't respond. Ariel doesn't
So
respond.
then we all went, "Oh, Ariel's not the bad
And
guy
let me
everybody
guess,
thinks
he
is."
lamented the fact. He said, "Oh, Ariel's bad guy. He's big timing us." I would have jumped on that thing. I would have popped your ratings. Helwani equals
He actually
ratings.
created a doll, and we were poking it. It
Yeah,
looked
of
a lot
course.
like you.
But I'm not available for the post show tonight. Sorry.
Good clean punching here once again from Fiodor Czerkaszyn. Looked a couple rounds ago like he may have Espadas hurt enough to go for the finish, but some strong punch resistance shown as Espadas is hanging around. Ariel, do you have Czerkaszyn up wide on your scorecard at the moment?
I do. What are we entering here? The 7th. So if my math is correct,
There's the counter right hand that Espadas landed flush as Czerkaszyn came in, walked right into it.
I'm not even going to bother with that math, to be honest.
If Ryan wins, you going to the Ryan after party tonight?
No, I'm on a red eye. I've got things to do back
no,
home.
See, Ariel,
Yeah.
I wanted to invite you to a post show as a special guest. Right?
No, I was asked. I asked if I was needed on the post show. I thought I got this nice suit, and they were like, "No, you're just bringing us to the dance, but you don't get to actually be at the dance." I was like, "All right, fine. I guess I'm just prelims Helwani to you guys."
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to text really mean things to your old number.
That's
All right?
true. Yeah,
They didn't know that Helwani equals ratings.
They don't. Well, some people know, but apparently not here. But it's okay. I'm not. I hope that the show goes great. You're just going to do it by yourself, Vince Scully style?
Yeah, that is the hardest thing to do in
Is
this
that
game.
weird?
I love it. Oh, I love it.
Oh, you love it.
I can talk to myself alone for hours.
Bit of a lone wolf.
Clean right hands once again from Fiodor Czerkaszyn in the dark trunks. He's been in firm control throughout. A spare right hand or two from Espadas has landed. Couple hard jabs, but don't have the punch stats in front of us. You'd have to believe Czerkaszyn in full control in that regard.
Do you think he's almost been trying too hard, though, a little bit, kind of forcing the shots and loading up a lot?
That's a great point. I do believe, especially in that 4th round when he had Espadas hurt. You saw him come out in the 5th, really trying for the knockout. But it's most likely, as usual, you go back to being patient. You don't look for the finish. Sometimes it can come to you. You have to understand, though, if you're, as we mentioned in the setup for Fiodor Czerkaszyn, you get a big win here. That's packaging 3 in a row under the larger PBC banner. More big opportunities could come your way, especially in a middleweight division, which, of course, Jermall Charlo still holds the WBC title. Is he going to move up? We don't know. Bit of an opening there for somebody to come in and make a very large statement.
Stunned him with that one. Espadas did.
Yeah, it's been one shot at a time for Espadas, really unable to find that level of consistency, but you got to be impressed with his toughness.
Honestly, I was just going to say, I am very impressed with his toughness. He is hanging in there, and he's not going away. He didn't get the memo that this was, it's spilling all over you. What in the world?
And me, by the way.
Wow. Can we get a shot of Brian here?
No, please.
Now
Can
I
we-
feel like
can we-
this is a bit. Is this a bit now?
This is the point.
He literally just took a
The top-
coffee, and 90% of
The
it went
top
on him.
is broken. You can see the top is
But
broken.
you've known this all evening.
I have
so I'm
known-
Why
very
did you go back to the well?
Kate, it's dangerous to sit next to me, okay? And I apologize.
He needs
for
a
that.
napkin or something. I mean,
I'm
this
going.
is
I'm going
mess
to
of
need a towel
situation.
over here. Less than 45 seconds to
hot?
go in round 7. No, it's very cold coffee by this
Okay.
point.
Do you want some of my energy drink?
No, thank you.
Oh my lord. Are you okay? Do you need me to take over the play-by-play duties here?
My heart will go on, Ariel. Okay.
I think he's nervous in between you and I, Kate. 2 pros.
Hard jab from Espadas. Yeah, the star power on this set. It really just.
Dream team.
Wow.
92S. You're the Christian Leitner. We're, you
Apparently,
know,
I am because I'm doing the post show alone. No one will
That's
talk
right.
to me, but. The amount of fluids I've spilled on my pants and shoes on this night is a record for Czerkaszyn putting together
Ooh.
strong shots to close the
wow.
round.
A little bit late there with that one.
Referee or Michael Ortega sliding in. Looked like Espadas may have been one or 2 more shots from going down. But a strong close to the round as they rally in the napkins for me.
Napkins
and,
are arriving.
Thank you. Can we retire this coffee cup,
Yes.
please, before Kate loses more of,
Some for Kate as
of
well.
her
I mean, I
self-respect?
think she got some,
We've also got an Oxy pen.
Here's a look
like
at the
stain
finish.
remover pen.
Wow.
Do you need
Who had that?
Final 10
Goodness
seconds
me.
here of round 7. Czerkaszyn with the clean shots. Not enough to force the stoppage, but the intention was there.
By
Wow.
the
The
way, Kate's never
multitasking
coming
here
back.
is impressive.
You're never coming back, Kate. Under these conditions, catching these coffee strays,
Do you need me to use the stain remover anywhere? Are you okay?
Yeah, I do actually.
they would never do this on the Galazzo show.
Oh, this is...
So this
Wow.
is a recurring theme in my life. My wedding night, which was 5507 De La Hoya Mayweather.
Oh, that's right.
First bite of penne alla vodka spilled all over my white.
You get a shot at this. I mean, this is
Like,
the real action right
This
now.
Oh,
is
now I
this is
gotta-
real life. This is what happens. Okay, I should not be allowed liquids around such high-priced electronic
I have to
equipment.
give this a second to try.
Unbelievable.
Round
They're
8
definitely
is-
calling
Team.
us to
This
do
is what they call
again.
team.
Kate
Look at
Abdo working in my corner here. Cut me, Kate. Cut me.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
Under the pressure, Kate just working the corner.
Thank you. Can we get the end swell out here and work
Yeah.
on? Yes. Thank you. All right. Round 8.
I'm just going to sit over here just in case more fluids.
Any more shrapnel?
Yeah. But
I'm
Fiodor
like
is
Fuller.
unfazed,
Yes.
by the way, by all of this.
I was going to say I'm like Fuller in Home Alone. If you
Go easy with the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Which one is fuller?
Macaulay's brother,
Oh,
Here.
yes.
who then later on went on to star in some other shows, which we can't name. By the way, shout out to Big George Foreman. His film comes out next week. Saw some footage of him hitting the heavy bag today. Did you see that?
I did not see that. Big George still putting it.
Big George was putting in the work.
You know, power the last thing to go, Ariel.
He actually said that in the clip,
Of course,
proving that the late great Elias was correct when she said, "Age ain't nothing but a number."
wow.
I need some more song references for the next show, don't I?
Ooh, big right hand from Czerkaszyn. Can Espadas continue to survive? Clean punching from Fiodor. A good right hand to the body.
It's actually a really fun fight.
Of course, this fight interrupted at times by me spilling my coffee all over half of the broadcast team.
So we need to start a Twitter feed for that. Remember the old school spilled bag of ice Twitter account in honor of Joe Rogan talking about the spilled bag of ice?
I don't remember.
Oh
that
wow!
one.
All right, I thought you went deep. Spilled cup of coffee. What was most impressive about it, you kept going back to the cup of coffee.
Czerkaszyn setting Espadas up with the hard right hand. Kate, tremendous work on that.
Oh
Hey.
my God! So impressed with the teamwork here. I mean, we all met each other literally 36 hours ago, and here we are taking stains out of each other's ties, or at least your tie.
Or putting stains on people's
Yeah.
shoes. Sorry about that.
They weren't expensive, right?
Two-way punching here in the final minute of round 8. If Espadas is going to go out, he's going to go out swinging. So far, he's proved his durability, though. Neither fighter has hit the canvas. Czerkaszyn has largely been in control, but sometimes his exuberance in going for the knockout has left him open to big right hands. Good stance switch there.
Yeah,
from
I was just
Czerkaszyn.
going to say. Stole my line. He heard us talking about it.
You see great footwork like that, you go, I'd like to see him on a dance floor, Ariel. I've been known to tear up a wedding
Yeah?
reception. Tear the thing up, all right? Spilled drinks everywhere.
What was the fight that your wedding day was on again?
Mayweather De La Hoya.
Golly. Did you have like a screen? Did you have some setup? Nothing? No feed? Closed
I had to
circuit?
commit myself to one woman, okay? And that's a lifetime.
Okay, so
commitment.
honestly, like how long did you hold out in terms of finding out what the result was?
Well, Ariel, there's a deeper story involved.
There's a deeper story. Can we get it?
You know, I was an employee at ESPN, a nobody. And I had a great boss, the late, great Anthony Mormiles. We look back at Czerkaszyn there in round 8, and I said, boss, there's this fight coming. Mayweather, De La Hoya, they might fight, there's rumors. And it would be the biggest boxing fight of our era and maybe of all time. If I could do one thing with my career, could I just go to it? Could I just be there? And he said, if they make that fight, I'll send you to it. And at that point in my career, I never thought I'd be here with Kate Abdo getting my tie cleaned, right? I never thought I'd be calling fights with Ariel Helwani. So what happened was I bought the engagement ring. And the next day, I proposed, and she
Oh, no.
said yes. And 2 hours later, I looked at my cell phone and it said breaking news.
No. Same
We had
day?
already picked the date and called and booked the
You guys moved fast.
Yeah, on the same day.
on the
And
same
did you
day.
try to switch the date of the wedding?
There were conversations that
And?
didn't go that far, but in the end, I had to choose a life of happiness over one
Amen.
night, at the fights.
Did you have FOMO?
Yes, because Oscar was my favorite fighter of all
He
time.
was.
You can't pick
Wait,
who you love.
all the Oscar slander this week, and now
can't
you
pick who
reveal
you
this?
love.
Oh my
At
god!
the end of
Is
the
he
day,
still your favorite fighter of all time?
Yes.
He is. I would have never guessed this.
It makes Raul Marquez, El Diamante very upset.
Oh
very
yes,
upset.
yes.
Fyodor Czerkaszyn
Love Raul.
continuing to put together power punches. Raul will be on the Spanish broadcast of tonight's Showtime pay-per-view card. And, of course, love the work he does on Showbox next to me and Barry Thomas.
Oh yeah,
Steve
and,
Farhood.
and his lovely sons, who are
yes.
fighters in their own right.
Yep, Giovanni Marquez's younger son turned pro on Showbox a little more than a year ago, 5-0 in the early going at 140 pounds.
Has he called any of his sons' fights?
No, he's the head trainer.
Do you think he would?
Well, I'm trying to get a scenario going. The Showtime executives have not followed my lead here, where I would like a card, a triple header
Oh,
on Showbox,
yeah.
where Raul Marquez calls one fight,
Oh,
trains his son for one fight, and comes back in the ring
Whoa.
for one more and does the triple header in
when was
one
his
night.
last fight? Like 10 years ago?
Yes, but he's one of those guys who wakes up and still feels like a champion. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know about that part.
He wants
I don't-
Oscar. He wants him bad.
Oh my gosh, Oscar was supposed to come back like a year and a half or so
Smart
ago.
move not to. Instead,
Yeah.
he went shopping and found a
New
see-through
abs.
dress shirt. Fyodor Czerkaszyn continuing to cut off the ring. Close out the escape pass for Espadas. Apologies to all the hardcore boxing fans for how many left turns we've taken on this broadcast, Ariel. But
No, they told me that they wanted left turns. That's why I'm doing this. Should I not have done this?
I've enjoyed every detour.
Producer Matt told me to go as many left
Body
as I
shot
wanted.
from Czerkaszyn, and a pair of them. Espadas is
Ooh.
hurt, and the fight's going to be called just like that.
I don't know about
Referee
that.
Michael Ortega, you have to believe, once Espadas turned his back to the action, it's certainly within the referee's rights to wave off the fight. You know the old saying, protect yourself at all times, and when you're openly turning away from a shot, that can be the indication. We'll certainly take another look at it, Ariel, but it was two body shots, it seemed, that hurt Espadas and began the beginning of that exit.
My word, the body shots were really on display once again from Fiodor. Supremely impressed with his work on the body. I'd love to see this replay again. Thought that was a little soon. I think that Espadas deserved maybe a little more leeway, but perhaps the referee saw something that we didn't there. What do you think of the stoppage?
Let's take a look at it right now, and then we can both react
way to
in
sit on
real
the fence.
time. Team,
All right, there's a
Team
nice body
Switzerland
shot.
over here. Two left hooks to the body
Oh yeah.
from Czerkaszyn, a
Third.
third. And then there you see Espadas turning away from the action,
maybe-
and for Ortega, look, it's a borderline call. I can understand Espadas' argument that he probably felt he was exiting away from the action, probably thought Ortega was breaking them up, but the pre-fight instructions in the locker room are pretty clear. You turn away from the action, that's what can happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the consensual 7 of round number 9. Winner by TKO, still undefeated, Fiodor Czerkaszyn.
Still can't believe that's
Fiodor.
Ray's brother, by the way. I'm blown away by that.
Miguel Flores on the call there of the time of the stoppage. Fyodor Czerkaszyn improves to